Hi guys, Leslie Suarez, part of the Gene Frederick leadership team at EXP Realty. Today I want to go over how we can do a bulk lead import. So get excited because we're about to learn something new. So a couple things that I want to go over is, first of all, how do we get to the section to do a bulk lead import? So when you're logged into your BoldTrail dashboard, you will see a More button at the bottom left-hand corner. If you click on that More button, you will see some additional options. You have marketing, lead engine, marketplace, playbooks, training and learning paths, the training calendar. So many extra tools and resources for you right here. But we're going to click on lead engine because we're trying to get more leads into our database by doing this bulk lead import. So when you land on this page, there will be some tools that BoldTrail has for getting more leads, doing property boosts for your listings or other people's listings. Squeeze pages, which I do have videos about squeeze pages, so if you're not using them, you should be. So please watch that video and learn all about that. So there are a lot of interesting things that are here, but one of them is this bulk import. So it says start an import. If you click on that, it will take you to this page that will give you a couple resources before it gives you the two options to say, let BoldTrail do the import, which I recommend, or do the import yourself. So before we do one of those, it is important for us to do a couple steps to kind of gather our contacts, make sure that we have them in a CSV file, which is essentially a spreadsheet. So some of the resource links are actually that BoldTrail does give you a 10 by 10 method. I'd encourage you to learn about this. So that first link will take you to how do you build that database? How do you get started? And so it does give you lots of tools and tips, as well as it's going to give you a spreadsheet. So if you are new to real estate or new to creating a database, I'd encourage you to click this download button. It will take you to this page right here where it is a spreadsheet that you can just start putting down people's information. How do you know them? What's a great hashtag? What's their name, last name, email, cell phone? What status are they? So you can actually change that out. The deal type, all sorts of information. It goes on and on as you scroll to the right. At the bottom of your page, you will see that there are commonly used fields. So there are sample CSV files or sample spreadsheets that you can take a look at before building your own. So again, I'm telling you this stuff for a reason. Work on this before you build your spreadsheet. So again, you have the 10 by 10, which is to show you how to kind of get started, this spreadsheet. And then there's also the spreadsheet that they do have as a sample. So if we go back to BoldTrail, you'll see format your list and use our template for your list. So if you click on this one, it will bring you to this template. And again, across the bottom, there's commonly used fields in Canada, all template fields, commonly used fields in the US. So you can scroll through this to find the right template for you to start using. Now I'm going to go into how do you do the bulk lead import so that we can talk about why building this spreadsheet is so important. So now let's go back into BoldTrail, and if I click on this let us handle it, which I could watch a video about it, or you can submit a file. So I'm going to click on that submit a file. It's going to ask you some information. You're going to hit I accept and continue to the import requests. When you get here, you will put in your information, your name, email address, phone number, that you're an agent, that you're located in the US or Canada, that you want these leads assigned to you, unless you have a team, then maybe you want them assigned to somebody else, and that these leads are owned by you. So this is separate than the lead assignment because you can own a lot of leads and assign those to people and still own them. But you would say that I own these leads. From here, it actually asks you to upload your file right here. I wish that this was at the bottom of this website, to be completely honest, because I think that as you scroll through what we're about to scroll through, you'll see more information about how to build that spreadsheet. So rather than uploading something right here, I actually recommend that you scroll all the way down through this, you answer those questions, and then you come back and you upload your file. So the first thing that it's going to ask is, are your notes in a separate file or are they in your file? For example, do you have notes on this sample spreadsheet? Is one of your sections a note and you have notes about that person? If so, write yes or write no. So then as you scroll further down, what is your preferred lead status for each content? I like to import all of my leads as a sphere. And I've gone over this in some of my other classes, but I think every single person that you know should be categorized as a sphere. But then as they start asking real estate related questions, you kind of move them through this timeline of real estate. I call it the circle of real estate life. So sphere is everybody, but as they start asking you real estate related questions, you'd move them to a prospect. As they tell you that they're thinking about buying or selling, you'd move them to a new lead. An active lead is somebody that you know that they want to purchase within a certain period of time. They've given you a timeline. I think of a client as somebody that, yes, you know them. Yes, they've asked you real estate related questions and they've told you that they're thinking about buying in X amount of time, but now they've also signed that buyer broker agreement or a listing agreement. So you have the client. Contract is for people while they're under contract. It adds some tasks to your calendar to check in on those people. And then I actually never use closed or archived. But for these purposes, we're going to import everybody as a sphere unless you have it listed in your spreadsheet. So if it's on your spreadsheet that each person is listed separately as their lead status, like you have some people as spheres, some people as active lead, you can put it here. But otherwise, if you do not have it designated on your spreadsheet, I would recommend that you import all of your leads as sphere, and then you can slowly change them over time. As you scroll further down, it'll say, do you want to apply a hashtag to these leads? So if you have the hashtags, which hashtags are ways of categorizing your leads in BoldTrail. So if you hashtag people by where they work, their friends' names, their friends and family, where they want to live or where they currently live, whether or not they're a mom or a dad, or, you can literally hashtag any notes about that person, and that way you can search and say, like, who do I have in my database that's a mom, and it'll pull up everybody with the database of, or the hashtag of mother. So if you have it in your spreadsheet, and again, you can have the hashtags, you'll see the lines across the top. So hashtags, this person has like cash buyer, pre-qualified, different things like that, but you can be as creative as you want. So if they are on your spreadsheet, that's great. You would say, yes, the hashtags are on my spreadsheet. If you don't want to add any hashtags, you would say, no, I don't want to add any hashtags. But I would typically at least recommend that you put the hashtag of bulk lead import on all of these people, so that way when you see this lead later on down the line, you know that you got it from when you did this bulk lead import. Again, just more ways of categorizing things so that you can keep everything straight. Or for me, if I'm importing a spreadsheet of some of the moms that I know from the PTA or information that I've gotten from somewhere else, and I'm adding those to my database, I might hashtag them all PTA moms or something like that, so that way they're all labeled, and if I ever wanted to look and send an email just to my PTA moms, I can search for that hashtag. So know that you can either hashtag them all, you can have it in your spreadsheet, or add no hashtags at all. As you scroll further down, it'll say, what would you like to put the leads in as? So I typically would choose buyer for all of them unless you have it in your spreadsheet. So if it is a column in your spreadsheet and they're all separately labeled as I'm a buyer and a seller, I'm just a vendor, whatever it is, if it is in your spreadsheet, it does make your life much, much easier. And then as you scroll further down, you can add search alerts to these people or not add search alerts. I'd recommend that you add search alerts. Do you want to add market reports? Yes, add market reports. And you would have to have a column in your spreadsheet for where you want those market reports, or no, I don't want market reports. If you're uploading a spreadsheet based on where people live, it's very easy. So if I uploaded all of my Boca Raton residents in one spreadsheet and then all of my Delray Beach, like the next town over, residents in another spreadsheet, I could hashtag all of them or do a market report to all of them at once. Which does also make that kind of easy. You can also add in home valuations. I would hit yes on this one because it's only for people that have a primary address on file. So if you don't have a primary address, they won't get it, but I would definitely recommend that you add valuations to anybody that you have their home address. And then, do you want these leads to receive a smart campaign? I would recommend that when you're importing people in, that you're importing them without a smart campaign. Smart campaigns are preset emails for BoldTrail to send out on your behalf, and there's lots of different types of smart campaigns that you can do, but it is somewhat hard to assign one campaign to everybody. And so this is something that I would recommend that you do more individualized to prevent people from unsubscribing, because an unsubscribed lead is a lost lead. And then you can also enter in any of your questions or comments. It does tell you that it may take up to 3 business days for your leads to import or upload into your database. If it is a very, very large spreadsheet, it might take 3 days, but typically if it's a smaller spreadsheet, 500 people, a normal amount, it will upload those within 24 hours. But it gives you that 3-day timeline so that you're not stressing over it. They will also send you an email confirmation when you get that. So you would then submit the file, but really if you were listening to my instructions, you would come up here and then upload the file, then scroll back down to the bottom and hit submit file for processing. I hope this has helped you. This is how you would do a bulk lead import. There's so much information that you can add to your spreadsheet prior to uploading it to BoldTrail to make your life so much easier. I hope that this helped. Please subscribe to more videos. If you have anything specific that you'd like to learn, let us know. Put it in the comments and we'll make sure to help you with your coaching and make BoldTrail that much easier for you. I hope you all have a great day. Bye.